of anti-Asian hate.
You guys eat dogs, I've seen it.
I want to stand up. I want to fight this.
We speak to a Thornhill woman who is still shaken after the incident as a community comes together to rally around her. Plus,
I think the public deserves to know the facts on the risks that we've identified in Ontario.
new vaccine recommendation. The province now advising those aged 18 to 24 to avoid Moderna due to increased risk of a rare heart condition. And
I want to help the Indigenous community after all they've been through.
tomorrow is the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. How some schools in the city are marking the day, while the province announces plans to introduce new Indigenous curriculum for elementary students. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. We begin with new recommendation from Ontario's top doctor. Dr. Kieran Moore says people between the ages of 18 to 24 should avoid the Moderna vaccine and instead only get Pfizer. Moore says he's concerned about an increased risk of a rare heart condition associated with the shot. Lorena Redicop reports.
The province is now recommending young people aged 18 to 24 get vaccinated with Pfizer rather than Moderna. That's due to an increased risk of heart inflammation, the conditions myocarditis and pericarditis.
It would show up with someone having chest pain and or shortness of breath. They may feel a fluttering of their heart. Typically that's within a week of having the second dose.
The province says risk is higher for young men in that age group. A 1 in 5,000 chance following a second dose of Moderna compared to a 1 in 28,000 for Pfizer. But the chief medical officer says people who get COVID-19 have a much higher risk of these and other heart conditions. He says for the majority with heart inflammation following the vaccine, symptoms are minor and treated with anti-inflammatories.
Of the very small number of people that have had to be admitted to the intensive care unit, most of the time that's for investigation, so taking a blood test, a cardiogram or an ultrasound, and then they've been rapidly discharged homes. And I just want to be clear, we've had no fatalities whatsoever.
The risks of adverse events, including these heart conditions, have been inflated by anti-vaccination groups. And this news could increase vaccine hesitancy. But the chief medical officer says it's important to give all the information, even with a small increased risk.
The public deserves to know the facts on the risks that we've identified in Ontario. I hope the public will see that we've got a robust system, that they should have trust in it, that will be transparent, and that I'm not holding any facts back. There is a risk. It's increased between one product and another.
Young adults are among the least vaccinated in the province, with a vaccination rate of just over 71%. Lorena Redicott, CBC News, Toronto.
Toronto's top doctor says the city has turned a corner when it comes to COVID-19, and that's thanks to having a high percentage of the population vaccinated. But Dr. Davila is also stressing now is not the time to become complacent.
We are again on the verge of a risky and uncertain period in the pandemic. So for the foreseeable future, choose wisely, carefully, and selectively when it comes to getting together.
She says the upcoming holiday season will be a test for Toronto. Dr. Davila hopes people won't partake in large gatherings over Thanksgiving and Halloween next month. If COVID transmission rates stay the same, the city's modeling says it is likely to see 130 cases per day by December. But if there is a rise, that number could increase to 600 cases a day. Well, York Regional Police have charged a 70-year-old after a hate-motivated assault. The incident, an act of anti-Asian racism that has left a woman in Markham shaken. She's speaking out tonight after posting video of the incident on social media. Our Jessica Ng has this exclusive.
It's not your home, okay?
Is your home?
It's not your home.
Is your home?
It's not my home.
This happened to Shiyue Mao early Saturday morning. She hasn't returned to this track until our interview tonight.
This guy attacked me because I have Chinese face.
You eat bats, you eat dogs, you f***ers. Why you are in this country anyway?
York Regional Police say a tip from the community helped them charge Parviz Almasi Goran of Markham with assault, an act they say was hate-motivated.
It is happening to many of our communities, but certainly in that one particular case, since the pandemic, definitely we've seen an increase against our Chinese community.
I want to stand up. I want to fight this.
Mao says she was going for a run along her usual route on this track around 9:40 Saturday when a large dog approached her.
I'm very scared because I was bitten by the dog last year. I just want the person take the dog away, but look around, many times I couldn't find anybody.
She says this happened several times before she approached the owner.
Then I go to him. I said, "You're supposed, leash your dog. It's a public place." And you know what he say? He just said, F you Chinese.
You.
I gotta call police.
Yeah, go file you and talk to the police. Go.
The verbal altercation turned physical, and Mao says Goran pushed her, knocking her phone to the ground. After gathering herself, she called police, all the while scared the suspect would return. Even now, she's still filled with anxiety.
I feel depressed and afraid because I feel he's just somewhere in my neighborhood. I don't know where he can just jump out of his dog, attack me.
Video of the attack, which Mao posted on social media, has become a catalyst for a community conversation on racism.
Seeing this happen, in our neighborhood, it's just really, really disturbing. It really kind of make us kind of afraid to go out.
I was shocked when I heard the news because I can't believe that this can happen in this civilized society.
I feel really sad because they say those mean things to Chinese, like they're framing us or something.
It's not acceptable. Everybody is concerned about it and they're willing to stand up and do something.
Stop hate, then we'll be secure. That's why I sent this video out. I told my neighbor and told my Chinese community. I told the public. I want them help me to stop this.
Jessica Ng, CBC News, Toronto.
The TTC's biggest union has had a change of heart about asking its members to disclose their vaccination status after originally urging members not to, claiming they had no obligation to provide personal medical information. The union now says they should. Greg Ross explains this sudden change.
We have now encouraged the members to disclose their vaccination status.
John Nino is the national president of the Amalgamated Transit Union. He says first and foremost, the union is pro-vaccine and have encouraged employees to get vaccinated. But he admits the union is still grieving the TTC's latest mandate about disclosing vaccine status, but not because they think employees shouldn't have to.
What we're grieving essentially is the employer has changed the conditions of employment, and not through the bargaining process, but heavy-handedly imposed something that we had no communication on, we had no consultation and no input on the development of that program.
He says the union also needs to have input when it comes to dealing with those who choose not to be vaccinated.
We understand that there are going to be religious or medical exemptions, and employers need to offer reasonable accommodations in those exemptions, like testing.
Today, the TTC extended its deadline for employees to disclose their vaccine status until October 6th. But the deadline for being fully vaccinated remains the same.
By October 30th, everyone in the TTC, contractors and students included with employees, need to be vaccinated to come to work.
Choice shouldn't lead to unemployment.
Today, MPP Roman Baber, who was expelled from Doug Ford's cabinet for his stance on vaccine mandates, held a press conference to announce a bill he's proposing to protect workers who choose not to disclose vaccine status. The local president of the ATU, Carlos Santos, was originally supposed to attend, but canceled at the last minute, while other members of the union distanced themselves from the MPP.
We have never spoken to Minister Baber. We've never supported his agenda, and nor do we do today.
Nino says they hope to have meaningful discussions with the TTC about how to deal with employees who choose not to get vaccinated. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
And now an update for you to a story we had yesterday. Ontario's chief medical officer says a parent initiative to perform rapid testing for elementary students will no longer have access to rapid tests from the Stay Safe program.
I do believe the PASS program was intended for businesses in Ontario, and its application in the school system wasn't following the rules used by that program.
This comes after some Toronto parents started their own program for hundreds of elementary students to get tested twice a week at home. Today, Dr. Moore said the rapid testing program is for businesses. He added that the province is considering asymptomatic testing for schools where there have been previous outbreaks or where there's a high risk of community spread. Well, Jays Yankees Game 2 tonight in front of a raucous home crowd at the Rogers Centre. Over 29,000 fans in the stands tonight. The team looking to keep their playoff dreams alive after dropping Game 1 last night.
Into this one, not quite as good lately. Simeon, deep left field, gone!
Things kicked off to a good start. That home run by Marcus Simeon, his 44th, putting him in the MLB history books for the most home runs by a second baseman in a single season. It was a record-breaking night for the Jays on a few counts. Bo Bichette setting a club record for the most homers by a shortstop in a single season. Bichette becomes the 4th Blue Jay with 100-plus RBIs. That's also a club record. But hold on, Bo was not done there. His homer in the bottom of the 8th would put the Jays back in the lead, and that's where they'd stay. Jays win Game 2, 6-5. And meteorologist Nick Cernkovich joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Nick, another lovely fall day. All I needed was a light jacket.
Hi there, Kelda. Well, perfect day today. We had temperatures that were touching that 20 mark. Now, it was on the heels of some pretty cool overnight lows last night, but nonetheless, that's a look at the afternoon temperatures through the day today. So this actually a little bit above the seasonal mark for the GTA. We've got temperatures that are sitting here in the 20s. And basically what you can expect is that this sort of ridge of high pressure that's sort of sitting in there, it's slowly going to shift as we move through the next couple of days. Now, as the pattern changes into the weekend, we've got some rain showers to deal with. We've also got some temperatures that are going to be sort of pushing up again. But for the next couple anyway, some good sunshine in the forecast there. There's a look at the forecast into tomorrow. A little bit of afternoon cloud cover, but otherwise not looking too bad. And then for the next 24, you can expect a cool overnight low tonight, 9 degrees, 17 tomorrow, so a little cooler than today with a mix of sun and cloud by the afternoon. Now again, some rain to talk about for the weekend. Your full forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Nick. A successful rescue mission at a mine in northern Ontario. All miners trapped deep underground at the Totten mine near Sudbury are safely above ground. The last of the group of 39 reached the surface early this morning.
They came through the doors. It was hugs and kisses and a lot of happy tears.
All the miners made the harrowing climb out using a series of emergency ladders up to 1,200 meters in length and with the help of a rescue crew. They became trapped about 1 kilometer underground on Sunday after a loose piece of equipment blocked the mine shaft. The workers hunkered down in refuge stations with access to food, water, and medicine before making their way out. The federal court has upheld a landmark order from the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal involving First Nations children. This puts Ottawa on the hook for what could be billions of dollars in compensation. Today's decision dismisses 2 requests for judicial reviews from the federal government. It had been attempting to overturn a 2019 order that demanded Ottawa pay $40,000 to each child affected by the on-reserve child welfare system since 2006. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has been widely criticized by both opposition parties and Indigenous leaders over the issue. They say his decision to fight the rulings is not consistent with someone committed to reconciliation. CBC News spoke to Marc Miller, the Minister of Indigenous Services. Here is some of what he had to say about today's decision.
Today's judgment does provide some clarity, which is important. And as the judge noted, we will continue to engage in dialogue, nation-to-nation dialogue, to fix this system and to achieve historic compensation for those who suffered harm, sometimes egregious, at the hands of the broken child welfare system. Now, there are limits to the CHRT's jurisdiction, and that was one of the challenges insofar as the court could only award $40,000. There are presumably a number of children that have suffered much more egregious harm and are entitled to more compensation.
Now, tomorrow is the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, a day to reflect on Canada's history with Indigenous people. Today, students at Toronto's Northern Secondary School and Kensington Community School campaign to raise funds and awareness ahead of the day. It comes as the provincial government announces a plan to expand First Nation, Métis, and Inuit content and learning in the elementary curriculum. Our Natalie Collada has this story.
In elementary school, I did not learn any Indigenous history at all. And being an Indigenous student, that was something that was shocking to me.
It's why today is a big deal for Isaiah Shafquat, a ceremony to honor truth and reconciliation and an opportunity.
Schools are getting much better, and teachers especially, with centering Indigenous voices and perspectives in the curriculum and the ways they teach.
Students at today's event sold custom Every Child Matter buttons, designed by a student Indigenous artist and assembled by a grade 6 class from Kensington Community School.
She incorporated colors from the medicine wheel.
Money raised from their sale is going to the Toronto Council Fire Native Cultural Centre.
We've been selling steadily since the first day, and we sell them at mornings and at lunchtime, and we always have a line.
These guys, all these kids here, are going to be your next premiers, right? Your next lawyers, your next judges, your next doctors, right? And when they have a better understanding about First Nations people and what First Nations people actually went through to be where we are today, right? It helps.
Education Minister Stephen Lecce today acknowledged the absence of Indigenous learning when he was at school and announced the province, along with Indigenous partners, are co-developing a curriculum to address the current gap in grades 1 and 3 by September 2023.
And while we can't go back, we must move forward with a sense of determination and collaboration with our Indigenous partners. And through co-development under their leadership, we can get this right.
And now many say is the time.
We're able to use our voices. And there was a time when we weren't allowed to. We weren't even allowed to speak our language. Right? So now's our opportunity and we're taking it.
Natalie Collada, CBC News, Toronto.
Watch CBC tomorrow for a 1-hour commercial-free special to honor the stories and perspectives of Indigenous peoples affected by the tragedies of the residential school system in Canada. Inuk singer-songwriter, activist, and documentarian Alyssa P. is hosting the special, which includes musical tributes and ceremonies in Indigenous communities across the land. Watch National Day for Truth and Reconciliation tomorrow on CBC TV and CBC Gem, or tune in on CBC Radio 1 and CBC Listen. That's at 8 o'clock. You're looking at a live shot of the city skyline, mainly clear this evening, becoming partly cloudy overnight. Currently, it is 13 degrees in downtown Toronto. All right, let's go back to Nick now with a look at your extended forecast. And Nick, hoping for more sunny days with comfortable fall temperatures.
Well, Calda, of course, we had a beautiful day today. More of that nice weather in the forecast as we head through the next couple of days. But into the weekend, the weather pattern begins to shift, and we've got some rain to talk about. There's a look at your weather headlines, though, for the next couple. Single-digit lows tonight, and then sunny days ahead for the next couple. Back up into the 20s, though, for the weekend. Here's a look at the weather picture here. Cloud cover pushing down as we move through tomorrow, but generally starts out sunny, then a mix of sun and cloud into the afternoon. Clears out for Thursday night into Friday. Friday looks pretty good. And then as we head through Saturday, high pressure breaks down. We're actually going to see Saturday evening rain coming down from the north. And so rain showers for Saturday evening into Sunday. Winds are also going to pick up a little bit here. Gusts to about 40 kilometers per hour, easing off. And then tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at winds out of the north at about 10 to 15 kilometers per hour across the GTA. Now, in terms of your forecast temperatures, your overnight lows are going to be a little bit cooler, and part of this is because of the clearing sky cover, certainly down in southwestern Ontario, single-digit lows across the board. Tomorrow looks pretty good, actually. We've got tomorrow's daytime highs that are going to be in the neighborhood of 21 degrees down in the Windsor area. Lots of sunshine for southwestern Ontario. As you move toward the Golden Horseshoe, though, slightly more in the way of cloud cover. That helps in some places for the overnight lows, so they'll be just a little bit warmer there under partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow afternoon, though, we are a little bit cooler around the Golden Horseshoe. Tomorrow, we're looking at daytime highs that are around 17, 18 degrees. That's pretty much bang on seasonal for this time of year, but that comes with a mix of sun and cloud. Into the long-range forecast, you got temperatures that climb into the weekend, so still looking at the same weather pattern in place here, 17 to 19 degrees. Saturday, more in the way of cloud cover. Chance we'll see some late day showers, but more so sort of a late evening overnight event. We'll get some rainfall there. Should, for the most part, clear out on Sunday morning, and then by Sunday afternoon, just cloud cover 19 degrees, and Monday 18 degrees. Unfortunately, no big warm-ups in the forecast, but at least I can say that temperatures are pretty much around seasonal. Kelda.
Thanks, Nick. Well, Mayor John Tory toured another pop-up artworks TO site in the city today, this one at Bayview Village. The installation called Chamba that aims to showcase Punjabi culture.
And chronicles, I learned as I went around to see it, what people experienced when they came to this country, Sikh women in particular, and some of the struggles that women continue to have here and abroad.
The art was created by Harjar Guman Matharu and showcases a Sikh family home with furniture and decor inspired by the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. Women are seen as the foundation of Sikh homes, but often erased from historical record. The exhibit is in place to tell the stories of Sikh matriarchs. And finally, tonight, the Toronto Police Service is honoring an officer who risked his life to save an elderly man from a burning building. Today, he received the award for Police Officer of the Year.
Yes, I'm honored, but again, like there's thousands of other officers that would do the exact same thing as I would have on that day. I think in that situation, there you go. Okay.
Alex Duandis' parents were at the award ceremony and said they were very proud. The fire happened in March 2020 when the pandemic was just beginning. The officer adds the virus didn't come to mind in that moment when he saw the people stranded and needing help. And that's our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Dwight Drummond has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night.